Hello everybody, this is Pete from PA Labs. Running a little bit late today on the video. Sorry about that. I've been writing code. So yesterday had a few interruptions. Actually, I had a doctor appointment and my eyes were dilated for half the day. And I had a real pleasant surprise, and I know this is a roundabout way to come up with this, but I threw, because your eyes are real dilated, a white screen, bright white screen is pretty brutal. And so I threw Zorin into dark mode, and I was not anticipating that the Pure Basic Development desktop would also be converted to dark mode, matching the UI's theme. In Linux, I mean, Windows doesn't do that. You have to go out and write your own themes for your tools, and lo and behold, in Linux, it just poof. Once again, it just does it for you. So I was pretty pleased to see that yesterday. I thought that was pretty neato. But for the video, I'm going to go ahead and kick it back to here. So I guess that's another wonderful little Linux nicety. Yesterday, I just discovered a minute ago that I hadn't finished the manual. I thought I had. The last two big pieces that I put in were the look at the generated code for and all the procedures, and comment on all the procedures of the window code and the database code. The database code here. And I had completely forgot to do enumerated lists. So got a little bit more of the manual to get done today, but that won't take long. There's not a whole lot there to mess with. So the help system's basically done. And the other testing that I've been doing is I decided I would rebuild the Wargame Studio. Maybe this time I'll get it released. I ran into a couple big issues of my design, so I had to rethink a bunch of pieces of that. And so I figured, what the hell, let's just go ahead and come in here and start building these enumerators and start building some of the database classes, generate the code, and kick off a whole new project. Now, how I'm using this tool in my development is, let's go ahead and I'm running from source right now. So kick back over here to source. As a matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and close this guy all the way down, and I will open the Wargame Studio, bring him online, and at the moment he doesn't run. I don't even have a control loop in him yet, but I do have a project folder, and we can come over here, and I've been generating the enumerators. I set up the Pure Basic Desktop here as a tool, so I can launch it and then drag it out of my way. I can come in and go ahead and push code out. We can modify this. Oh, some of the changes I made yesterday here is you can now double click in the list icon here and edit whatever you want to click on. So that's doing very nice. That's kind of what yesterday was spent doing, other than just making things do what they're supposed to do. But was like, what's irritating me, and then fix it. So we can come out here and generate code. We can export it. Oh goodness, look, it has a copy already exists. Yes, I know. So we can bring it up in KDiff, and let's go ahead and say, I guess I got to make some change. Maybe they're identical. Yeah, that's true. All right, so there is no change. So we can close this. So here we don't need to export that. But what has happened that we're not necessarily staring at in the face? Let's go ahead and close this, and I want to show you something. If we come over here and open up our project folder, we exported an enumerator. Now, we actually now have two category types. We have the real one, and we have the one that I just generated. So when you go about generating code, obviously I got to write it to a table, but I don't write it on top of the existing one that's in your system. In fact, initially all I do is write it to the editor gadget on the screen. And then when you want to export it, I take it from there and I look out into the folder where it's going and say, oh, you already got one. Do you want to run kdiff? And at that point, I make actually, it's not that point. If you say yes, and then I take my code from the editor and save it to this debug file, and then launch kdiff on the original and on mine, comparing. So the original comes up in the left pane and the new one comes up in the right pane. So then you can do your merge across. You're going to merge what you want from the left pane into the right pane, right pane into the left pane of kdiff, and then save kdiff. Well, the minute you save kdiff, he's going to make a BAK, category type.bak backup of what you're replacing, and then he saves the new version into the actual file. So now, when you complete that, you now have two extra files. You have a backup file, a BAK file that was generated because of the merge from kdiff, and you have my copy of the newly generated code, because kdiff will compare files. I have to create it as a file, and I didn't want the system to come behind and automatically delete these on you. You need to know they're there, okay? And it's a personal, it doesn't really affect your application other than you got all these extra files, backups in your various folders. But it's good to know, because you may merge something and then go, oh God, what did I do? I screwed it up. I got to back it up. Well, you got a BAK sitting there. So you can re-merge them if you want manually with kdiff, not a problem. Or you can just totally revert back to the BAK. That's up to you. But what I did do was, when you decide that, yep, everything's awesome. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong project. Oh, I'll run it from here. So I have it as a tool. So we bring this up. So what I have added in the menus is a file cleanup under both the DB class and the enumerators for cleaning up those backups and extra files that this tool has created, or kdiff and this tool have created in your folder structures. So that can be cleaned up just with the click of a button, and poof, it's gone. And the code itself is running a pure basic file delete, which bypasses trash cans, and just purely the file is gone. So it does that both in Windows, and I tested it earlier this morning, and it does that also in Windows. So if you guys think that I should research to see how to put things into the trash, we can do that. But for the moment, it's just going to stay that they're gone. You're choosing to clear those out, and be aware they're gone when you do that. So let's see, what are some of the other niceties when you're building a enumerator, and you come out here and you finish typing bridge, my natural want is to hit enter, and I wanted enter to be saved. So if you type bridge, hit enter, then you can add a new one. Okay, so that takes off some of the hassle of creating new and modifying and all of that. So that is working very good. Pretty much I got everything working. I was still testing code. Today's going to be a big code test day. One of the things I did want to show you, we have code injection, right? So let's close this, jump back here. This is some, I think it's pretty slick code. Let me drill in this away. And let's go over here to my project common. So project common is, yeah, you opened up. All right, so this is my code injection. I thought this was pretty slick idea. So let me scroll this a little farther out of our way. Oh, you don't want to go smaller than that. Okay, that's as small as he's going. All right, now I created a little function up here for writing to the database, and it takes a path and a name, and he first makes sure that it doesn't already exist, and then he does some lookup stuff, but he basically he tries to go find it. Well, excuse me, let me say this. The code sheet, let me bring that up. Hold on. That's a I want to say it's a hidden table, but it's not really hidden. Whoops. Brought it up and I closed it all in one fell swoop, didn't I? Okay, so code sheet. Code sheet, I've uploaded all of the files for putting on your computer when you create a project, okay? So these files are designed to go places. So we have the two list forms. They're in the database. These are the form designer of Pure Basic. They are the generated code out of Pure Basic. So by just injecting them into your project, they're in your project in the folder directory. And then the various other pieces of code that are required. All right, this is all stuff that the generated code uses. So, excuse me. So what we do is we have the name. I look the name up in code sheet and get the code sheet, okay? And then I open the path plus name, and then I write the file out and close it. So that's all that piece does. Now, the real work is done down here where I'm examining the root folder. I try to figure out if you have putting stuff in the root or not in the root. So then we examine the various directories if that should be there, and if they're not there, we create them. So let's come down here to somebody who's got here we are. So in the type folder, we examine the project root type folder. The types are the enumerators, and so if the directory is there, great. I go ahead and write to the database. Here's the folder and here's the file name, okay? And I call that little write DB, and then I finish the directory. If we didn't find the directory, I create the directory and then I write the file. Now remember, the first step of this guy up here of writing the file is, does it already exist? If it already exists, he bails out of there and no harm, no foul. If it's not there, then he goes and creates it. So with hardly any lines of code, and a just reused a little module up here, I was able to put all the code injection in to all the various folders with basically a line of code in each folder. I thought that was pretty slick. So Project Common is his main function is just to do the verify project structure. So he's called from a number of places, but basically every time you open up a project, he makes sure that the file is the project is verified. When you create a new one, he runs it to make sure that all the folders are there and the expected data is in there. So anyhow, I wanted to point that out to you. So I think that pretty much covers what I'm working on right now. We got a couple tweaks to the manual to do, and I'm testing this by rebuilding a Linux version of the war game, and I will be pursuing that today. I have considered, in addition to that today, is to launch this, is to come out and add in. Right now, the only thing that's working is the built-in form designer. Since most of my war game is built with ICE Designer, I'm debating on using ICE Designer, using this war game testing, to go ahead and bring into the fold ICE Designer files as well into the tool, that it can handle both of those. So maybe I'll even do Pure Vision as well. I really want to get all three of those into the tool. Today might be the day I do that. So I've got probably another day or two, maybe three, of testing before I release this. So that is today's update. I want to thank all of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. For those who are on the edge viewing and watching what I'm doing on this code, I want to promise you that we got a lot of code coming that's going to be being developed and videoed and shown how things work. And you ought to think about subscribing. And for those of you who are subscribed, thanks a whole lot. No, I don't get anything from the subscriptions. I don't have any of the financial crap with YouTube. I do this because I think it's the right thing to do. So with all that said, thanks a whole bunch for watching my video, and y'all have a good day.